First of all, Happy New Year. I wanted to do something, but I went to sleep. I actually, I did want to kind of hang out with the family, but like I said, I went to sleep. Plus, drunk drivers and shootings. It's not really safe. It's not really safe. Like during a lot of holidays that require fireworks. In any case though, like I do kind of want to make this channel a lot more, engaging. So I do plan on like maybe posting up stuff over here a little bit more, especially because I went over to a training a couple of days ago, and I was there. We were kind of like just sort of like Roxanne Perez was there, Gino Medina was there. I want to say Brian Keith, Jonathan Vega. It was like just an entire smorgasbord of just people who have already made it, kind of just sort of talking to the trainees and sort of teaching us how to do certain spots and stuff like that. It was cool seeing Roxanne again because like when I saw last time I saw her, it was like in 2020. Before she went on this before she became, Ring of Honor Women's Champion and everything. So it was really dope to be able to see her again. And I like to think that she might have recognized me from 2020. You know what I mean? But if she didn't, no big deal. I mean, she's a famous person. She kind of, she sees a lot of people all the time. But yeah, like, it was cool, like, it was cool, like, being able to engage with her. And, I got a chance to, like, bug Brian Keith a little bit, bug Vega a little bit, stuff like that. It was just really, like Medina is like, man, the day that I don't know if Medina is still wrestling or not, but if he's not, the day that he comes back, the world's gonna get set on fire. I'm telling you. In any case, but I was there, I did a little bit. I realized now I got to work on my cardio and stuff like that. But yeah, so I should have talked about that a little bit more, but that's not what this video is about. This video is actually, whoo boy. Okay, so every so often I go on to AEW's Instagram and I go on their posts, and every post is always just some whiny fans just basically saying we don't like this company and you shouldn't either. And it's just like, I'm going to like this company because it's a wrestling company. I like wrestling. You don't have to like it, but I will. No, actually, the ratings shows that it's actually a bad show. So if you like it, you're dumb. No. If I like it, I just like wrestling. I'm not gonna like. I would never care about what a wrestling fan tells me when it comes to like stuff like that because, like you're watching something that I'm actively trying to do. You're watching something that you would never want to be involved in. You would never want to actually, like, it's like, I actually sit down sometimes and I talk to these wrestling fans and I ask them, if you could actually change one thing about professional, like, if you was in charge of a wrestling company for like a month, what would you do? And they will always say kind of like the same thing. I wouldn't be in charge of the wrestling company. I don't have to be in charge. Or they'll do something along the lines of, the most popular wrestler would be a champion. Or the least popular wrestler would be a jobber. Or I will fire everyone I don't like. It's just like basic stuff that they would say stuff like this. And it's just like, or some of them would just be like ridiculously self-aware and say stuff like they'll be like ridiculously self-aware that what they want to see happen is not always something that should happen. I'm just like, but I always ask them that question just to kind of see what they say. And they always just say the most bonkers and crazy stuff, and then they have the audacity to be like, oh, by the way, this $1 million company that is still on television even after a few years, even after a few slump years. I know what it's like to I know how to make that company better. I don't hate the company. I just want it to succeed. How is it not succeeding, bro? It's still on television right now. Well, it has low ratings and it doesn't sell out arenas, but it's still on TV though. It's still a show. To put this in perspective, WCW currently right now is not successful because it's over. ECW is currently not successful because it's over. It's gone. AEW is still going. How is it not successful? Do you want, like, there's a difference between, like, it's just kind of weird because, like I said, I go on these, and once again, I say this not necessarily. I'm not gonna be like I'm AEW's biggest fan because I am a fan of wrestling. I'm wrestling's biggest fan. I will watch whatever wrestling I can whenever I can watch it. So it's not necessarily, oh, you like AEW, you're just a mark, which is like, ugh. It's like, nope, I like wrestling because I like wrestling. But either way, I go into, like I said, I go into the Instagram. I get into the arguments with these guys, and like every so often, one guy will go onto my Instagram profile, and once they get through all the political stuff that I talk about, they realize, oh snap, he's trying to actually train to become a professional wrestler. And the first thing they say is, "You're never gonna make it to WWE." Like, so this video is gonna be basically about that. This video is gonna be my response to that. Firstly, I know that I probably won't make it to WWE. I like wrestling. The whole reason why I'm training to, if I went into professional wrestling thinking that I was going to go into WWE after I get done training, I would probably quit training because of the fact that I know, first, there's a lot of things about professional wrestling that I am more than aware of. And I feel like I've talked about this in another video, but I want to just reiterate on this because I want there to be consistency. First off, I am well aware that I look the way that I look. I'm like 5'6", okay? I'm 5'6". I'm at least a good 220 pounds, maybe. I'm not very muscular. I look like my hair. I've been growing my hair since 2016. This is as long as it's gonna get. You know what I'm saying? I wear glasses. I can't get on a micro, like my voice sounds like this. Like if I want to get more aggressive on a microphone, I end up sounding like this, and I end up getting all angry and I can't do the growling voice because everybody who knows this is the voice that I'm going to use without promo. I can't do stuff like that. You know what I mean? I sound more like Mickey Mouse than I do Ultimate Warrior. But the fact of the matter is that like I'm not. I know that there's a lot of things that is going to probably stop me from becoming a successful wrestler in like the bigger companies. I know I might get overlooked. I know that I might not be. I know that there's going to be a chance that wrestling fans who are supporting me right now because I'm currently training to be a wrestler are going to immediately turn on me when I start wrestling because of the fact that they're going to be like, oh well, now that he's wrestling, I'm going to pay attention to his moves, watch him wake him once he makes at least one mistake or at least 5 mistakes. I'm going to consider him to be like the most botch-filled wrestler on the planet. Or if I get injured, like maybe twice, they're going to say, oh, he's injury prone. He's a good wrestler, but he won't be able to stick around because he's injury prone. I know what the criticisms are because I actually interact with the wrestling fans. I know what the criticism are. I know what to prepare for. I know what to expect. I'm not naive to what these people are doing. And the thing is that like wrestling fans, if there's one thing I know is that wrestling fans really want to believe that you are naive to what they're doing because it makes them feel, it makes some wrestling fans, it gives them, a chance to be like, yeah, I told him. You know what I mean? Told me what? Oh, nothing. You know what I mean? Like they really want, like there's wrestling fans out there that don't want you to respond back to them if they start talking trash about you because it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just stating my opinion. And it's like, well, let me state my opinion about your opinion. Well, you can't do that because if you do that, then you're just making it about me. You're just focusing on me and not on wrestling. And believe it or not, it's very possible to focus on multiple things at once. We live in a society right now where we kind of have to do that. We live in a nation where we kind of have to focus on multiple things at once. So it's become a little bit easier to do that. Me talking about the wrestling fans right now is not going to stop me from still training. I actually just finished working out. That's why I look a little shiny right now. But like it's just weird to me because now I know what I'm gonna have to deal with. I know what I'm gonna have to put up with. I just don't care because I like wrestling more than I like wrestling more than I will get upset about wrestling fans. A wrestling fan telling me that I'm not going to make it in WWE, AEW, Impact, wherever, or in wrestling in general. A wrestling fan telling me that is not going to stop me from wanting to be a wrestler. It's not going to detract me. It does make me sad a little bit that a wrestling fan feels like they have the kind of power to just sort of like they live in their own personal reality where they're just like, see, I told this wrestler that they sucked, so, and they took that to heart because they didn't say anything. I totally got him. And it's like, no, you didn't. You didn't got him. You didn't do anything. You're just You're just some weirdo on the internet that nobody. You're just some weirdo on the internet who's trying to get yourself over by doing the least work imaginable in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And I just personally don't. I don't approve of that. I don't think that that's right. Like, like if you're going to have all this heat and all this fire and all this anger towards professional wrestling and claim to be a fan of it, like if you're, I will always say this: if you're not inspired, if something that you claim to be a fan of doesn't inspire you to do anything, I don't think you're a fan of it. I think you're just watching it because it's background noise to your life. And that's fine. You can have background noise to your life, but you can't claim to be a fan of that background noise just because you're used to it being on. Because you can just switch the background noise from one thing to another and feel the same way. Like with me, I wanted to be an actor because I watched a lot of television shows. I wanted to be a professional wrestler because I watched professional wrestling and it was cool. I want to do a lot of things. Me doing YouTube videos and trying to get the hang of editing and trying to learn how to do stuff is because I watched television a lot growing up and I was like, what if I could do that? And with today's fandoms nowadays, there's no they're mostly going viral and mostly becoming ridiculously successful just by saying this thing that I saw, I didn't like it. And that's just it. That's it. Everybody's just like, that's so profound. He didn't like the thing. Guess what? Now that he doesn't like the thing, I don't like it either. And it's like, no, bro. Like, have your own brain. And that's kind of like my issue. That's my issue with a lot of these fandoms nowadays. Like I said, it's bandwagoning. I don't like the idea of bandwagoning in fandoms. It's like if you're going to dislike something, let it be because you dislike something. Don't let it be because you agree with somebody else who dislikes something, because that's just like you don't have your own brain. I remember back in the day, WWE used to have a chat room on their website. This was like what was it, like 2005, 2006, 2007? It was a long time ago. But it was a lot of like WWE used to have a chat room on their website, and during the time where John Cena was actually like kind of starting to get built up, and he was starting to break away from the white rapper gimmick and go into whatever he was going into at the time. Fans would be like, "Oh well, John Cena's not that good. He only has like 5 moves of doom." 5 moves of doom. 5 moves of doom. He can't do anything. 5 moves of doom. And I just remember, like, I used to hear that all the time. And at the time, because I was a DQ fan too, I used to listen to these guys and I'd be like, yeah, John Cena does have 5 moves of doom. Let me go ahead and watch one of his matches and count them. So I did that. I watched one of his matches. It was a SmackDown match. It was a match on SmackDown, and I could not, for the life of me, tell you who he was going up against. I think it was Chuck Palumbo. Was it Chuck? I don't know. It was on SmackDown. That's all I can tell you. But I just remember watching that match and counting the moves that John Cena did. Not the moves that John Cena took, but the moves that he did. And I just remember like thinking to myself, more than 5. That's okay. Well, okay. So I went over back to the chat room. And I would be like, guys, I don't think y'all got it right. I saw a John Cena match. He did more than 5 moves. And it's like going, well, like, it's like, dude, nobody actually counts the moves during a match. And I'm like, your whole criticism is that he does a certain number. What? And then I remember at some point there was this whole thing about 5 moves of doom and other wrestlers basically saying that every wrestler has 5 moves of doom that they do. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, it became a whole debate subject thing. And it's like, clearly wrestlers do more than 5 moves. And now wrestlers do now you watch indie wrestling, wrestlers do like 20 moves in a match. And you're just like, oh my God, it's fake, it's choreographed. So it's just like the interacting with fans back then with stuff like that and interacting with fans now because of other things, it just makes me realize that no matter what you do, fans are going to complain. No matter what you do. Like, just fans are just not going to... If fans don't like you, they're not going to. But they're going to basically try to push this notion that you have to make them like you by doing something that they want you to do that they don't even know what they want you to do yet. So it's just like, well, be better. How, bro? By doing better stuff. Like what, bro? Shut up. What? So that's just a lot of stuff that kind of goes with it. That I just feel like it's just. But that's what I'm saying, man. It's just wild, bro. Like my whole thing is that like at this point right now, it's just making it very clear that like entitled you can't please entitled fans, and I'm at that point where I'm like I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to please entitled fans, even though I do want to. I do want fans to like me, but I'm not gonna like But I'm not going to try to bend over backwards for them to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like, my whole thing is if you don't like me, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of weird because when fans don't like you, they just literally like hunt you down and pay attention to everything that you do so they could say, this guy sucks. This guy is terrible. He is awful. We don't like him. And we don't like him. Or we're going to wait for him to make another thing so we can tell him that he still sucks. That other thing that you made also sucks. Nobody likes you. Nobody's going to watch you. It's like going, you're watching me, bro. You're watching me. It's just weird. But yeah, like I said, man, the fake fans on AEW, it's like, like I said, it's just, it's very well, it's very kind of, it's a little eye opening to just know that if a fan doesn't like you, they're just not going to. And they're going to blame you for it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it just being, I don't like this fan, I don't like this wrestler, there's just going to be like, instead of it being, I don't like this wrestler, it's going to be, this wrestler is bad. It's not that I don't like him. It's just that they're not a good wrestler. Which is not a valid criticism because you can't determine what's good and what isn't. Yes, I can. I've been watching wrestling since for 30 years. So you know what you like. You know what you're interested in. You know what you enjoy. You don't know what's good and what isn't. You just know what's good for you. So say that more. No, I am the guy who determines what's good and what isn't. Okay. You do that. I'm going to go over here away from you. I know I feel really bad saying this because I actually do like wrestling fans and I do like the conversations that I have with wrestling fans. I just rather talk to real wrestling fans instead of these hypercritical, pocket watching. Like I want to, like when I talk to a wrestling fan, I want to be able to have a conversation with one that doesn't bring up stuff like ratings and stuff like production value. I just want somebody to just watch the wrestling and just be like, okay, this is wrestling. This is what I want to talk about. Like these people are not businessmen. They're not financiers. They just look at ratings and be like, that's our personal involvement into the company. That's us. The ratings are us. So if the ratings are bad, that means we don't like it. So we can talk bad about it because we don't like it because the ratings are us. It's like going, no, dude, just stop. Just stop. If AEW was doing that poorly and not selling out arenas and doing bad in the rating systems, the fact that it's still on television should just confirm that either what you're saying is incorrect or it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's still going to be on TV. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. I would just hope y'all understood. Love, peace, happiness, happy new year, and here's to a good one.